Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today I'm going to take you guys to the family farm so that you guys can see what is growing this year and how it is looking. So it's one of our favorite places to go while we're here. So we do go there quite often and it's close by, so that's great. Even though we are in the city, it's just a short drive away. And yeah, so I'm going to take you along. There's some interesting things growing there and it's just one of my happy places. Okay guys, welcome back to the channel. So let's get on with this week's video. We are going to tour the family farm in Portugal and see what types of things that they are growing, what's doing well and what isn't this year. So these are just the beans and they are sorting through just to see which ones are good and then throw out the ones that are not suitable. And then of course, fresh bananas, freshly cut, and then they just hang them, and these ones were ready to be eaten. So we were snacking on these while we were at the farm. Super delicious bananas, and they have a few different varieties of them growing on the farm. These ones were cut and then they are going to be hung, and that way we can just wait until they're ready to be eaten. So they do winemaking on the farm, so they grow a lot of grapes for that, and they do white wine and they also do the red wine as well. So they were just taking the grapes and seeing which ones again were good and which ones had to be discarded. And then they already started the process of making some white wine, so that's what this is inside the bin. And yeah, it's quite the process. I couldn't really explain it to you because I don't know how it goes, but yeah, we just saw that the white wine was in the works, and I did try a little bit of it and it was absolutely delicious. Really nice and quite fruity. And then they have some squash growing in this little pocket. So here's the passion fruit, and I feel really fortunate that we were able to have some, and they were so delicious. We don't have the abundance that we normally have. They said that nothing grew very well this year, and last year they had the same problem. Things just haven't grown as well, but that's okay. We still got to have some, and I feel fortunate to be able to enjoy them. So they had peanuts growing again this year, and those did very well. And then also something that I would love to grow if I can, I'm not sure if I can, but it's French garlic. So I really enjoyed eating French garlic. I always do when I go to Portugal. It's something that, they even sprinkle on pizzas. It's really delicious, and they say it's really easy to grow. So I'm wondering if I can grow it where I live. I'm going to see if I can actually, get some seeds and try it out, I guess. So they have a lot of sweet potatoes in the farm as well, and that always does wonderful. So every year they always make sure they plant an abundance of sweet potatoes, and they also have other root vegetables growing as well. Something that you will see growing everywhere, just even randomly and on pretty much everybody's property, is inhame. Inhame are taro, I believe, in English, and it's just a part of Portuguese cuisine, and it's something that every family pretty much enjoys because it's in a lot of their meals, and it's really healthy. And again, it's a root vegetable, and it can be called different things depending, I guess, on where you live, but in Portuguese it's inhame is how they say it. And yeah, my oldest daughter absolutely loves them, and I am not a huge fan, but I will eat them here and there. But yeah, they absolutely adore this vegetable. So again, like I mentioned earlier in the video, they do make their own wine, so they have a lot of grapes growing, and they do eat them as well, just as a snack. But the main reason why they plant all the grapes is so that they can do the wine, the different types of wine that they do throughout the year. And yeah, they're growing really wonderfully. It's such an interesting process of, selecting the good ones, and the whole process of winemaking is, part of Portuguese culture, and brings back some memories for me, growing up with my grandfather. He used to make his own wine. Nice to watch the whole process. So another thing that they have growing every year on the farm are a variety of tomatoes, so we were able to enjoy these and harvest quite a few of them. And they also grow them in the greenhouse as well. So they had collards, of course, growing on the farm. What's a Portuguese farm without some collards? So we use them in a lot of our cuisine. So I was able to harvest a lot and I made some soup with potatoes. It was super delicious. I'm not sure if I actually filmed it for you guys. If I did, then I will do an upcoming video in a what I eat in a day type of video. But yeah, super delicious. I also made some veggie wraps, some raw wraps with them, super yummy. And I actually got seeds for the Portuguese collards because although I grow collards here in Toronto, I actually think that they're a little bit different in Portugal. So I decided to get the seeds there, and that way I can try planting them here just to see if they will grow. They also had strawberries there on the farm, which was a new addition. I hadn't seen that before, so they tried some strawberries and they just had them all netted up because obviously, you know, bugs will get to it and it's a little more protected and sheltered inside. And they grew pretty well. I mean, they didn't harvest a ton, but they did get quite a few. And it's really hard to get fresh berries, I found, in Portugal. So it was a nice treat to be able to get some fresh ones there on the farm. So they had squash in a few different places on the property. They also had rosemary growing and they also had parsley growing as well. So yes, some herbs. And then in the greenhouse, they still do tomatoes. They are cleaning up their potatoes as well in the greenhouse. So there's always something going on in there. They had garlic and saffron as well. And then here's the pumpkins and the squash that they had picked. So they were just kind of sitting out, and this was just a recent harvest. I made a lot of pumpkin soup and pumpkin and veggie soup. It was super delicious and really nice having all the pumpkins and the squash there available to me anytime I wanted. Here are a lot of the grapes. There is more than this, but this is the bigger plot of the grapevines. So on the family farm, they have a lot of citrus growing, so a lot of different types of oranges. They have tangerines growing, and the difference between the trees just even from last year to this year were pretty incredible. There was also some newly planted ones because they had some extra space they want to fill in, so they had planted some. And I was really impressed with all the growth in just 1 year. So it is pretty incredible, and basically they want to be self-sufficient. They want to be able to have everything grown right on the property, or the majority of things grown on the property, which is a really nice feeling. So there were a few things that I wasn't even sure what the heck they were. This is a quince apparently, and I had to actually look it up because my family only knows what it is in Portuguese, which I can't even remember how to say it now, and they didn't know what it is in English, so I had to kind of look it up. But very interesting that they have some different types of trees there on the farm as well. And then of course the coffee plant, amazing. The coffee beans were so neat to look at from the, you know, early stages of what it looks like into the time where it matures and it becomes an actual bean. It's so interesting. So they roast it, they grind it, they do their own coffee. That was one of the things that they really want to try to do on the property, and they have been very successful in doing so. It's really great too because it's all organic and no pesticides at all on any of the veggies and fruits. Again, of course, the oranges and the tangerines, they have quite a big orange grove there on the property, so that's really, really nice. And I just love looking at the trees. They were absolutely beautiful. Okay, now moving on to the different types of fruit. Like I said, I had to look up. This is a black heart fruit. They are super delicious and really sweet. And they're croissants negros is what they are called in Portuguese. Excuse my pronunciation. I'm just trying my best here. But yeah, they're super delicious and actually my mom's favorite fruit. And she was kind of sad they weren't ripe enough to bring back home. But maybe another year I will try to harvest one and bring it for her, since she said that the best ones come from Portugal. So they also do their own tobacco there on the farm as well, which is really interesting to see how this grows. And yeah, I mean, one of the family members smokes quite a bit, but at least he's able to grow organic tobacco, and it's real tobacco, and that's what he smokes. And he rolls that and smokes it versus having regular cigarettes that are loaded with tons of toxins. I guess that's a pretty good alternative if you are addicted to tobacco and feel the need to have it. This was my favorite part of the farm. I loved where the bananas were growing, the different varieties, seeing how they grow. I found it so interesting. And, you know, the fact that we are able to eat bananas right, you know, fresh from the farm. What a wonderful feeling that is. And I think it's really important to show, you know, children especially. I wanted them to see what it's like to actually live off of your own land and be able to eat fresh food, you know, and not have to depend on, you know, your food coming from miles and miles away and on trucks, even mostly for us in Canada, coming from the US because we can't grow most things here. So it was really important for them to see how important it is to be able to grow things and eat them right fresh from your farm and on your land. So yeah, it was really a fortunate experience. I love going to the farm. It's one of our favorite places, and we spend quite a lot of time there when we are visiting our home there in Portugal. So yeah, this is basically the whole farm and what is growing this year. So that's it for this week's video. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel. Welcome to the new subscribers, and I will see you in next week's video. Again, it will be another Portugal type of video since we are spending some time here in our home. Thank you so much again, and I will see you next week. Health, joy, and positive vibes to each and every one of you.